Wadika. My name is Varuchi and I'm starting a new series on YouTube called Massage Diaries. So basically in this show I'm going to be going to male massages, the kind of spicy kinds, and I'm gonna be reviewing them. I'm gonna be giving tips, tricks, things to do, not to do, massage spa etiquette. And yeah, it's mainly gonna be based in Thailand, but who knows where I'll go. But so let's jump right into it. I got a massage on Monday before I left Chiang Mai and came back to Bangkok. So this place in Chiang Mai, there's not as many like let me phrase this correctly. There's not as many hard, intense, full service male massages as there is in Bangkok. But there's one shop in particular called Aqua CNX, and so it's near Chiang Mai, by the Shangri-La Hotel, around that area. But basically, it's one of the few shops in Chiang Mai, and I've been there plenty of times. But so I went. You go into this little shop, right? And it's kind of a little quiet, a little discreet. You don't really see the windows because they have to keep it low key because it's Thailand, and technically it's not fully legal yet. But so basically you go in, and then you can reserve a masseuse ahead of time if you want. You look at the photos online, but I decided to do a walk-in, and then you go sit in the waiting room, and they have this like glass window, kind of like in the movie Rush Hour, where it's like heaven on earth. But basically they go call the boys, and they all line up, and you can see the boys through this glass window, but they can't see you. So you line up, and then you can tell them, the manager, the mama-san, whatever you want to call that person, and then you basically pick a boy and then go up to the room. So so you have to pay for the massage and then the tip, which comes out to be around like 1,500 to 1,700 baht, depending on the place. But yeah, so you go up. So I picked the masseuse. So I tend to like, I go for the straight-ish ones, the straight-looking ones, the more masculine types. There are various types you can pick, ranging from gay to straight. But whatever your taste, your preferences, and then you pick what you want, right? It's like a menu. So so I pick my guy, and then so we go into a room. It's like this little small room. So the building is like kind of like it's like a kind of like a townhome type of situation, and they have like little rooms that they've separated out, right? So I went to a room, and there's a bed. It's just like a simple bed, and there's a bed sheet, and it's like dimly lit. And then inside the room there's like a like a little mini restroom, but mine only had a shower, which is pretty normal. They have like another restroom outside if you need to really use the restroom. But so you go in and then you shower, and then they have a bath towel provided. I don't know if you guys have ever been, but I'm like giving you all the details, right? So you shower, and then you kind of wait, and the masseuse, either sometimes he showers outside, or he comes in later and then he showers. So this masseuse, hold for sound. So this masseuse came in after, and he showered. And they have to take off their clothes because they showered, right? They're showering, right? And then, so now here we are on the bed, a last unsheathed unrobed, unflowered. No. But so then you start. So he starts doing the massage, right? So they, it's normally an oil massage, but you can choose cream, but I like oil. So they start massaging you, and let me just reiterate that, like, in these kind of situations, well, in this type of shop, you're not really there for the massage, you're there for other stuff, right? So, other stuff. So here we are. So he starts giving me a massage, and this guy in particular, he was kind of like a little short, kind of like athletic build. But one thing I did notice is he had like a severe like overbite, and that was kind of a turn off, but that's fine. I mean, not everybody has the luxury of braces, right? But so shade. But other than that, he was, he wasn't like, he was attractive. He wasn't like hot, but out of all the guys that day, he was the one I was most attracted to, right? The guy I wanted initially was off. But anyways, so he starts massaging me, and his massage skills were actually quite good. I mean, like, good for that particular type of shop. Because other people will just like kind of tap you, rub you, and then that's it. But he was, he was like taking his time and really applying the oil and trying to giving me a decent massage. And then, after his little 1-2, he started to get into it, right? So he started, putting his hands in certain places, and then I started to be like, and then, that's when the beast awakens, and then now you're just like, you're flowing, so I'm trying to like do this to him, and he's doing that, and it was like pretty sensual, and I felt good, and it was like flowing, right? And then so I kind of like turned around and started doing other things, a little peck, a little nibble, a little this, a little that, and doing what you're supposed to do in these kind of contexts, foreplay, right? And so here we are doing the D, and then it's flowing, and then so what I really appreciated about this guy is, so he was, he was gentle, he was sweet, he was kind, but when it came time to do the deed, he was like, "Are you ready? Like, do you want to do this?" And so most masseuses, and we're talking about the deed, right? The deed. Most masseuses will just like kind of be like, "Are you ready?" And then they just start doing it. Basically, like, no communication, no consent, no boundaries. I mean, you go in with the idea that the context that this kind of stuff is expected to happen. So it's not like it's out of random, but with this masseuse in particular, he was like, "Are you ready? Are you sure you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So I really appreciated that. He gets brownie points for communication and asking for consent. But so then we start to do the thing, and at first, he was a little, how do I say it, endowed, right? But not too endowed, but endowed. But so there's always going to be protection, right? The latex and the lubricant. So they always have it in these situations, and if they don't, you should ask for them to have it, because protection is important. But so he starts to do it, and then at first, it always starts with missionary, right? But I don't know about you guys, but that's how it usually starts in this situation. And at first it was okay. I was kind of like faking it a little. Not faking it, it just wasn't as like pleasurable, right? Because at first you're kind of tense, you're nervous, you're kind of like, you're like, it's this first time, and you're a little, but I don't know about y'all's, but so I'm just kind of like trying to breathe deeply and you know, let go and just ease into it. So, you know, we do it, and then, then we start to switch positions, you know, switching up positions for you. And then, so then we start to go from that, and then I start to like come on top, and then, but then, oh, girl, it's just like, it's a struggle for me because I'm a tall bitch, and then he's like, but we do, anyways, I was like working my magic, you know, doing my yoga. So eventually I get on top, and then at first I like do this kind of like position that you kind of see in, you know, the videos, and you're like, oh wow, this angle, I like it when I see other people do this angle, so I'm gonna try this angle. But, and then when, you know, it reaches cowboy, like, so at first it was kind of like meh, and then there was this one moment during cowboy, like, I don't know, I was just like doing my little kegels, and he was like brrr, and like it was like, oh, like it was just like, woo, it was so good, to where the point, like, to where I like, you know, was able to finish hands free, and it was just like, oh, I don't know, let's just say he took me to the candy shop. And I don't know if I used that reference correctly, but it was just like amazing, blissful, sensual, pleasurable. And yeah, so we finished, I finished, at least I did. No, he didn't. I don't know if he did. They usually don't, because, you know, they have to have a lot of clients that day, but yeah, so it was done, and then he like offered to give me a little shower, like come and help, you know, scrub the oil off. And normally they don't shower with you unless they like feel a connection with you, or you ask them, or it went well. But so he gave me a shower, and it was cute, it was sweet, and yeah, so overall it was a good experience. You know, I appreciated the communication. He was definitely hot and took his time, and, you know, very respectful, which was good. And yeah, the session flowed, and it went well, and, you know, I paid the rest. Well, oh yeah, so first you pay for the massage, and then you pay for the tip separately. It depends on how the shop does it, but then, so I paid him, and then I was on my way. But yeah, overall, good experience. Would go back to him, and yeah, it was good. It was good. So yeah, that's an episode of Massage Diaries. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And who knows, maybe, you know, you'll have the courage to try these kind of massages one day, or go to the spot if you already are into that kind of stuff. But yeah, pleasure is a good thing. It's normal to explore our bodies. There's nothing wrong with sex, you know. And always wear protection, have fun, be safe. I love you all. Bye.